Alright, so what we're going to be doing here is a new set of protocols that's going to include the EFT tapping, lymphatic drainage, Qigong, conscious breathing, all with the gold energy. So we're going to start off with quantum pause breathing just to get a good a base of what this is. So what we have is an inhale, a pause on a full breath, exhale, pause on an empty breath, inhale, pause, exhale, pause. All right, so that right there, you really want to customize that to yourself. If you start doing this for maybe 2-3 minutes and you're going too fast, you'll start to get a little lightheaded, like you're hyperventilating, a little bit dizzy. So if you're doing this too slow, you'll start to get a little bit uncomfortable, like you just don't have enough oxygen. So that's one of the breathing techniques that we're going to be using. The second one that I like to use is abdominal breathing. So what we're going to be doing, instead of rising the chest with our breath, the up and down like that, what we're going to be doing is using our stomach to push and pull all the air out of our lungs like a bellows. So we inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now, what you're doing here with this breathing technique is you're completely and totally clearing out everything going on inside of your lungs. So if we're doing the chest breathing, we're leaving the bottom parts of our lungs and all the alveoli and air sacs in there filled with carbon dioxide, and we can't clear it out. And so when we do this abdominal breathing, we're literally clearing the lungs from the bottom out. Not only that, when you move your stomach out, you're letting those organs inside expand. And then when you contract it, you're actually pushing all that lymphatic fluid. You're pushing all those digestive juices through. And so it's actually helping to pump the liquidity through your organs and keeping everything from being stuck. So that's the breathing right there. All right, now what we're gonna be doing for the tapping is there's 8 different points that we hit. This is just regular EFT tapping that you can find anywhere on the internet. And so we got 8 points. The first one's the top of the head, right here on the crown. Second, right here on the inside of the eyebrows. Third is right here on the outside of the eyes. Fourth is right below the nose. Fifth is right underneath the above the chin. Sixth is three finger lengths down on the wrist, right there. We can tap these on either side right here. And then the last one is the karate chop point right here. And so these are the spots that we're going to be using. Now, the intention we're putting in with this is to clear our energetic field, because sometimes we end up with our lymphatics are stuck, the chi won't flow, and we end up trying to do this gold meditation and it just doesn't work. We can't get this to light up, we can't get it to move through our bodies. And this right here is a way to actually go directly to the body and say, look, this is what I want, and the body will then start actually accommodating you for it. So we're going to start off with up above on our head right here. My energy body is free of blockage. 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 Now, when you get done with this, you'll actually feel your body, there's a tingling, there's a movement going on inside. You can't really put your finger on it, but you feel different than you did just 15-20 seconds ago before you did this for the first time. Now, what you're going to want to do is at least do this 3 or 4 times. I prefer to do it like 5. The usual rule for the amount of percentage that each tapping session goes down with your gold is about 20%. So if you're at 100% with energy blockage, if you start doing this about 5 times, it should go down 20% each time until you completely clear it out. That being said, this is just the residue. This isn't the actual implants themselves. This is the stuff that's keeping the chi from flowing that you can get out. The consciousness itself is not going to let this happen. It's going to grab a hold and you're going to just flow everything away that's not part of the consciousness. So what we're doing right now is kind of knocking it loose. So you do that maybe 3 or 4 times, 5 to be sure, and then you'll move on to the next one. What we have now is a lymphatic drainage system. So what we're going to be doing is working from our head all the way down to our feet. And so I'm just going to take you through each of these points and how to do that. So first and foremost, we're going to make these little finger cups right here, and we're not pressing too hard. We're just kind of gathering the forehead and moving the skin and that slight layer of fluid underneath it back. across the eyebrows, then underneath the eyes, across the cheekbones, then underneath the cheekbones, and then get down into the jawline. And what we're doing is pretty much pushing all this fluid back here. Now, the spots that these drain in are the eustachian tubes that come in right from the ear, right here. So you're going to find this spot right underneath your ear on both sides, and you're just going to close your eyes and start rocking your head back and forth as you're putting enough pressure in here to feel this movement. Now, if you're feeling pain, you're going to want to back off on the pressure, because that means that you're really clogged and really jammed up. And so what you're doing is you're working your way down this whole entire pathway, and you want to stay away from this middle line right here, because in between the windpipe and the SCM, the sternocleidomastoid muscle, is your carotid and your jugular, and you don't want to go pressing on those. This is all right straight from this ear and the eustachian tube down the scalenes right here into the subclavian artery. Now, the subclavian artery is right here inside of the collarbone right there. So once you make your way all the way down, you're going to want to make these little hooks with your hands and just hook right inside your collarbone. And we're going to do this same gentle rocking motion. Now, if you're pushing into your collarbones and as you're rocking like this, you're feeling pain, you're going too hard. You want to find that pain level and you want to go right underneath it. So if you're pushing and it's like at this level right here, you're going to want to go right underneath it. You don't want a full-blown ouch. You want something that it might feel a little uncomfortable, but it still's got a good feel to it. And so when we do this, we'll work our way right here from the center, right where this little dip is in between your collarbones, all the way out into the corners. Once we make it to these corners and you've just really gently and softly rocked this back and forth, we're going to go down to the next point. So we've just drained this from our head, down behind the ears, down into the subclavian. Now this all goes into the axilla, which is in the armpit. Now when you look at the armpit, you've got like the actual pit itself right here. That's not where we're pushing. We're pushing directly to the outside of that. So it's the closest spot to the outside of your shoulder blade right here, inside of the armpit. So you'll take your finger and just jam right in there like that. And then what you do, and this one's pretty painful and pretty sensitive, so be careful with this one. You don't want to push too hard. You'll just jam your point in, and then you'll move your hand and your arm back and forth. The whole point is to find the dysfunction and then move the muscle around it. And that's what we're doing right here. And so you'll get from the top all the way up here down to the bottom, right on this side. And you can do all kinds of different stuff. You can move this arm around, you can, it doesn't matter what you do. And as long as you get all the way from the top to the bottom. And then you'll do the same on the other side. And then once these are done right here, this is all drained down and it's going into the abdomen right here, into the ribs. So what we're going to do is get these ribs right here. So we're going to make these little hooks with our hand, and we're going to find that spot right in our solar plexus where the xiphoid process meets, where the ribs come together, and we're going to dig in right underneath that. And now what I'm doing is pushing in. You see how my fingers go underneath that? And you can pull it out. Now a lot of people can't do this right off the bat because we've got our spleen, the spleen's on this side. This side we have our liver and our gallbladder, and a lot of the times, especially with the environment that we live in, with the chemicals, the toxins, the food and whatnot, this is really, really jammed up. So if you feel pain and pressure there, you're going to want to go a little bit softer. You're not going to want to dig in like I was doing, but you're still going to want to push in and try to get that upward angle up inside of the ribs. And so what you do is once you get in there, you'll just breathe around it. Deep abdominal breathing, just like I showed you at the beginning. So. Now, when you're following this breath, if you can, on the out breath, you're going to want to push in and down. And this will actually open up these nodes and let everything drain. If that's too painful for you, you're not going to want to do that. You're just going to want to keep on doing this protocol once a day until you can start really getting in here and moving this stuff around. So you'll start up here, and with each breath, you'll move down all the way to the corner of the ribs right here. Then you'll come up and you'll do the other side, all the way down. Now, we've just drained everything from the head, down the neck, to the subclavian, into the axilla, and now these are draining now too. So what we're going to do is keep going down. These go straight down through the middle and down the sides behind the obliques right here. So what we're going to find is right inside the hips. So this is my hip bone right here where it comes up. I'm going to hook my finger right inside of that right there on both sides. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start moving around. It doesn't matter how you move your hips. Just keep that pin right in there. And you can move forward, you can move back, you can move your legs up and down, you can twist. It doesn't matter. This right here is what you need to do is pin the area down, move the muscle around it. And so then you can follow that whole line of the hip right down the front of the leg. And it'll actually go right to the inside of the leg. And this right here is the adductor. This is where everything connects in on the inside of the leg and then the lymphatics go down right through the middle right here. So once we make our way all the way to that point, you know, finding a new spot, moving around, digging around, we'll get to these inside of the legs right here. And what we're gonna do is take your fingers, make some spear points, and you're gonna just jam it right into that spot and just start moving your leg around. Give it a twist, move that knee, bend it, flex it, do what you need to, you know, bring this up. It doesn't matter what you do as long as you're moving the musculature around while you're pinning that spot. And so you'll make your way all the way down to the inside of the knee. And once you get to the inside of the knee right here, what you're gonna do is actually take both of your hands, your fingers, and you're gonna clamp down around the top of the knee right there. And once you do that, you just move the knee back and forth. Do this a couple of times, and then you're gonna go on the bottom side of the knee. So right here I'm on the top, now I'm gonna go to the bottom. Do the same thing, pin it, rock it back and forth, move it around. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna sit down here for this next part so I can show you guys. The foreleg. Now, actually let me stand up real quick. What we have on the foreleg is here's the calf, and then you see the two bones of the ankle, how they come up right behind. That's what we're working on. That's where the lymphatic pathways go through. So you're gonna find that malleolus right here on the bottom of the ankle, and you're gonna follow right up behind it. And this is where the bone connects all the way up to the knee. And so what we're gonna do is dig into that spot, start moving the foot back and forth, as we work our way down. And what this is doing is actually opening up this lymphatic channel all the way up to your foot. And once we make it all the way down, right behind the ankle, that's where the lymphatics flow in. So we'll just grab a hold of there, just move this around, stuff like that. Just push it around. It's pretty much, it's all ready to flow. It's all good to go, and all it needs is a little bit of a drain. That's it. That's what we're making right now. And so the other side, just like before, you're gonna find the malleolus right there at the bottom. You follow this all the way up to the knee. And that's the pathway. You dig into that, start moving that around. All the way down. Now, you're probably going to want to take a lot longer time than I am to do this. I'm just doing this for demonstrational purposes, so you'll notice it the first time you do it, and then you stand up, and this leg feels completely different than this leg. It's like, oh, okay, all right, there we go. Now, for the arms, the lymphatics go down the middle, right here, from the armpit, from the axilla. And you can do this by taking soft fingers, flat hand, just pushing it right there, right inside that gap in between the bicep and the tricep. Just start moving that around. Once you get down to the elbow, do the same thing that you did with the knee. Wrap your hand all the way around it, just move it around. Give it a twist, move it. Now, the radius and the ulna, it's just like behind the tibia and the fibia going up the arm. These two bones, right behind it, all the way up, that's where the lymphatics go. And so, you're gonna wanna push in there, move the hand around, flex it, all the way up into the wrist. You're going to do the same on the other side. Move that up and down a little bit. And flex the arm. Flex the hand. All the way up. Then you'll get into the wrist. Just move the arm around. Move the hand around. There you go. And then you do the other side too. Once you're done with this, and you've completed the tapping along with the EFT, or excuse me, the lymphatic stuff, right now you're going to be feeling a lot more flow inside your body. You're going to definitely be feeling different than you did before you started this. This is priming the chi. This is getting the meridians buzzing. This is getting the chakra centers activated. This is getting everything primed in order for you to actually move this energy through your body. Now what we're going to do is actually build up this chi energy. There's two of my favorite Qigong techniques ever. And I use these pretty consistently, and they're great. It takes like 2-3 minutes to just recharge yourself, and they're amazing. So the first one's called lifting the sky. And pretty much what you're doing is you're sitting there with your feet about shoulder lengths apart, and you're just bending your knees slightly. So they're not locked, but they're just slightly bent. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your hands, and right now you're just gonna turn the inside palms up so that the top of your hand's looking at the sky, and you're gonna turn them inside. And what you're gonna do is with the breath, you're gonna inhale at the same time you lift these up over your head. So inhale. And then exhale. Just bring it down. Be very aware of the breath when you're doing this with the body. These are very, very simple appearing techniques, but they're incredibly powerful. And when you get done with it and you just sit there and you can feel this energy flowing through your body, it really lets you get a handle on these subtle energies that a lot of people have an issue with finding to begin with. So let's do this a couple more times. So. You could do this anywhere from 15 to 20 to 1,000 times, however many we want. I try to prefer to get at least 10, 15 of these in to get everything really moving. Now, my other favorite one, it starts off just by bending over. Now, when you're doing this, you don't want to be uncomfortable. So if you bend over and you start feeling like you can't bend over anymore right here, come back up to here. So what you do is you just bend over and let it drop down. And with the breath, as you inhale, you'll actually lift yourself up. And as you inhale and lift yourself up, you're going to be making almost like a moon-shaped mudra with your hands. And so just follow along, you guys get this. So you're bent over, and inhale. So what I was doing is I was coming up, my hands were together, and then I got to the top and I bent back slightly. And so what you're doing when you're doing this is you're letting this chi flow and everything that's stuck inside of your abdomen start to let loose and move up. And so this one right here will actually youthen you. This technique right here, they call it chasing the moon. And this one right here, it'll turn you from, say you look 50, you feel 50. You do this for 3 months straight, twice a day. You'll look like you're 40, you'll feel like you're 40. You keep on doing this and you'll go back. This is where you end up with these Qigong masters who they're 90 years old and they don't look a day over 40, and they can do anything that a 40-year-old person can do. And so this is one of the major reasons that they can do it. So I'm going to run through this one more time so you guys get a good handle on this. So inhale. Exhale. When you're done with each movement, before you start on the next one, just sit there for a couple seconds and just feel how everything flows through your body. After you do these techniques 2 or 3 times, you will be feeling some subtle movement in your hand. You'll be feeling blood, you'll be feeling chi. Even if you don't know what chi is, you'll be feeling it. So it'll actually give you a handle, something to kind of identify that you can move around later on. In the beginning, when we're doing stuff like this, people really think that the energy work is supposed to feel like, sticking your finger into a light socket or something like that. And it's not. It eventually can become that, but these are all very, very subtle energies, and you have to develop the awareness and the propensity with them to get to that point. So that's what this is all about right here. So we'll couple this type of a protocol with the golden energy. Now, the golden energy, I've already got that protocol out there, so I'm not going to rehash that right here now. What I'm actually going to do is give you another technique to go with it, and I call this conscious breathing. Now, the philosophy behind this in Qigong, the air is just as much an energetic aspect of our lives as everything else. Now, the whole thought process behind this is that it's all pure chi. And so when we inhale this chi, we're sustaining ourselves. Now, they all think that you have a basis of vital energy that we all use to exist. And it's pretty much what, I guess you could say, has our meat body running around, what we would call the soul. And so there's that basis energy right there that we all operate from. But when you go into this physicality, you need other forms of chi, other forms of nourishment. So we need food, we need water, we need air. And with this air, this chi is so vital to us that if we cut ourselves off from it for 5 minutes, we'll literally die. And so that's what this whole philosophy about this practice that I'm about to show you guys is. And it's called conscious breathing, and it's incredibly simple. And what you do is you just use this abdominal breathing to inhale this life into your body, to whatever part in you that you feel the dysfunction is at, and you let it sit there. So I do this all the time with my massage therapy clients. I'll have them take a deep breath in and have them just visualize this air and oxygen and energy flowing to that spot, and as they exhale, they bring it out of their body. What I feel on my side when I'm doing this is an immediate release inside of the tension of the body. It lets go completely, and it allows me to take the body to wherever I need it to go. And it's not just a massage therapist that can find this type of relaxation. You doing this by yourself can do this too. So let me get into detail on this breathing here. So when we inhale, when we take this universal nectar of life in through our lungs right here, what we can do is literally visualize it as an energy coming into us. And so say for instance that you've got a problem with your hip right here. What I would be doing is I would go into my breathing knowing that this hip is my focus. So I would inhale through my nose or through my mouth, it doesn't matter. But instead of the air stopping in my lungs, I would visualize this air, this oxygen, this energy breathing right into this point right here. And I would hold my breath in almost a quantum pause type of a way. And then after 3 or 4 seconds, I would exhale. And what you do is you exhale the pain, you exhale the discomfort, you exhale the blockages. And this technique right here is incredibly powerful for getting rid of implantation inside of you. It's incredibly powerful for getting rid of parasitation inside of you, because if you start coupling this conscious breathing with the blockages inside of you along with the golden energy, you're going to knock stuff loose and nothing's going to be able to hang on. So that's why this is really, really powerful stuff, and everybody needs to know this. Everybody needs to know this. So I really hope this helped out, and let me know if there's any other questions that you guys have. So thank you. Bye-bye.